Rule 3. Ziploc bags. Okay, hear me out. This one is perhaps the most vitally important, and especially if you're an entrepreneur in any way. Typically, entrepreneurs have vision, they know how to go and make it happen, and they leave a trail of absolute administrative destruction behind them. Don't do that. Take a second, put your business cards, put your receipts, put the money you make like in a Ziploc bag or at least in a file folder. Have a system behind you where you're actually keeping things organized. Listen, it's not who I am, and I feel so sorry for my wife who's helped me all these years, but in the end, it doesn't come and bite you in the butt.
Rule number 3, Ziploc bags. I like the way he used the term Ziploc bags because I never would have thought about that. But to me, this idea of Ziploc bags and understanding you need to keep your house in order is very important. I think when we realized it with our company was when we got a bookkeeper and an accountant, and they were like, "Where's this stuff?" And I was like, "Huh."
Good question. Where's that receipt from June 3rd, 2019?
Yes, exactly.
No, I totally agree. I think that when a lot of people who have like a creative side get into entrepreneurship, they run with their creative side, and then perhaps their admin side is lacking, which I can say so for myself. I know my fiance is always on top of me. Like every time you get a booking, every time you take a payment, every time it goes in a spreadsheet. And you'd think with my admin background that would be in my head yet. Not quite. No. So it is a tough one to learn.
Yeah, and it's a very, very important one. And not just for receipts, etc., passwords. Like if all of a sudden you need to go in and do something on Facebook for a client or for yourself, what's my password? And always changing your passwords and what's a website password. And maybe, in our case, we start working with clients. Now I need to know their passwords. And so there's a lot of things that you're right, like a creative or anybody, maybe they make something, that's what they're good at. That's their thing. They might not get the rest of it. That's where you can bring somebody in. And honestly, hiring a bookkeeper and an accountant for us was the best Ziploc bag in history.
Yeah, and I know we think like, oh, well, we may not need that receipt or we may not need that business license from 2018, but the government might. The government might. So it is a really good idea to keep all of that information, whether you keep that in a binder, whether you keep that on a drive. I would personally recommend having a few different spaces to keep all that. A
scanner is and digitize everything. It's don't let that kind of stuff derail what you're really good at. That's kind of, I think, what he was chatting about too, was just the idea of don't let that be the reason that slows you down.
Totally. No, totally. I totally agree. Awesome. Well, that was rule number 3, Ziploc bag.